Assalamu alaikum dear students. Yamin Jamali is here. Today we will discuss a new topic from chapter number 14, that is transpiration. Transpiration. Transpiration is the process of evaporation of water from the aerial parts of the plant body. Aerial parts meaning those parts, suppose, and this is a plant. The part of the plant above the soil surface is aerial part, and the part of the plant below the soil surface, the underground part we know, that is the root. The aerial part, from the aerial part water moves and joins the atmospheric air in the form of vapors. This process of evaporation of water from any aerial part of the plant body is called transpiration. Transpiration, which is an essential process, because we know the transpiration that also results in the uptake of minerals from the soil, which are very essential. The transpiration that also maintains the temperature of the plant body. Transpiration, there are three types of the transpiration. They are stometal transpiration, stometal transpiration. Number two is cuticular transpiration, and number three is lenticular transpiration. Let us know on stomatal transpiration. Stomatal transpiration, the evaporation of the water through the stomata of the leaves. We know the leaves, their epidermis at many places possess kidney-shaped guard cells that we have discussed in the topic yesterday. The stomata pores, they allow the opening of the stomata pores, they allow the water vapors to move out of the plant body. The evaporation of the water through stomata pores is called stomatal transpiration, and a plant total transpiration by the plant in the all types, about 97% of the water lost from the plant body, that is stomatal transpiration. That meaning the stomatal transpiration, that is about 97%. Stomatal transpiration and number two is cuticular transpiration. We know cuticle, that is a waxy hydrophobic layer, though it prevents the loss of the water. Cuticle is a waxy hydrophobic layer that encloses the leaf surfaces, and you see the young branches. This cuticle, that is a hydrophobic layer, waxy layer that prevents the loss of water, but due to the higher vapor pressure inside the plant body, some molecules of the water, they leave and are passed through this demarcation, that is the cuticle. So loss of water in the vapor form through cuticle is called cuticular transpiration. And number third, that is lenticular transpiration. Lenticular transpiration is the process of transpiration through the lenticels. Let us see. Lenticels. What are lenticels, dear students? Lenticels, these are the small pores or small spaces at the old stem, and you see the old branches of the plant, the old stem and the old branches, these old branches and the old stems, they, with the passage of the time, they developed some pores and some water molecules, they are passed out through these lenticel pores. The transpiration through the lenticels is called lenticular transpiration. Dear students, what are the factors, let us see, which promote the process of transpiration? Factors affecting factors which affect the rate of transpiration. There are many factors. Number of the factors are there which affect the rate of transpiration. Number one is light factor. Light, the sunlight, that is the great factor and essential factor that promotes the rate of transpiration, because light, due to the light, the process of photosynthesis is started, that have been discussed in the last topic. The sunlight, when strike the guard cells, resulting in the synthesis of glucose or the carbohydrate. When glucose molecules they increase in the guard cells, they result in the increasing of solute potential. Due to the increase of the solute potential, the guard cells they absorb water from the neighboring cells and resulting in the turgidity of the guard cells, and we know turgidity of the guard cells, they result in the opening of the stomata pores. When the stomata pores are opened due to this light factor that has increased the turgidity and resulted in the opening of the stomata pores, thus the light factor that promotes the rate of transpiration. And other factor which is temperature. The environmental temperature. Due to the environmental temperature, the evaporation of the water, that is the evaporation we know, the process by which the water from the liquid form is changed into vapor form. So the environmental temperature that increases the vaporization, thus the environmental temperature that increases the rate of transpiration. Number 3 is wind. Wind, when air moves, blows, this is called the wind. The wind that increases the rate of transpiration, because we know when there is no wind around the plant body, the air that becomes highly saturated with the water vapors, and when the air blows, and this air or when air blows, this is called as the wind, and wind allows not the plant body, the atmospheric air, it allows not the surrounding atmospheric air to collect the higher concentration of the vapors, thus the wind that increases the rate of transpiration. Number 3 is humidity. 4 is humidity. Humidity. Humidity, you see, the humidity that reduces the rate of transpiration, because the rate of transpiration that is also directly proportional to the rate of transpiration. When there is a humid air around the plant body, it decreases the rate of transpiration. And number 5, that is soil water. Soil water. When the soil is rich in water contents, the rate of ascent of the sap increases, and thus it increases the rate of transpiration. When there is a low concentration of the water in the soil, that meaning the rate of ascent of the sap that will be reduced, naturally the rate of transpiration will be reduced. Dear students, let us see the mechanism of the transpiration, how the process of the transpiration that takes place. Mechanism of transpiration. Mechanism of transpiration. Mechanism of transpiration. The mechanism, that meaning how transpiration, the process of the transpiration that occurs. Dear students, the transpiration that involves two processes. The process of the transpiration is completed involving two processes. Number 1 is evaporation, and number 2 is diffusion. These two processes are involved in the mechanism of the transpiration. Dear students, suppose these are the two kidney-shaped Govt cells at the leaf epidermis, and this is the stoma, the space in between two Govt cells. Let us see number 1, evaporation. Dear students, evaporation is the process when the water from liquid form is changed into vapor form. This is called evaporation. This is a pair of the Govt cells and neighboring epidermal cells. The epidermis, under the epidermis, there is a layer, cellular layer. These cells are called mesophyll cells. Beneath the epidermis, there is a layer of the mesophyll cells. Mesophyll cells, we know, they are water-filled, water-rich cells. They possess a good amount of the water. Due to the environmental temperature, the mesophyll cells, their water that is changed from liquid form to the vapor form, and the mesophyll cells below, mesophyll cells, they are in direct contact with the environmental atmospheric air through the stomata pores. Due to the environmental temperature, the water of the mesophyll cells is changed from liquid form to the vapor form, and thus this area, the stoma, this area, this space that becomes filled with the water vapors. That meaning this area, which area? The stoma, that becomes filled with water vapors. Now, another process is involved in the transpiration, that is the diffusion. Now, at the end, what happens? The water vapors from this space, stoma, that moves from their higher concentrated region here in stoma towards the lower concentration, that meaning atmospheric air, and thus the process of movement of water molecules from higher concentration to that of lower concentration in the atmospheric air, this process is called diffusion. The rate of transpiration that depends upon rate of evaporation, and rate of evaporation, dear students, rate of evaporation that depends upon the environmental temperature, and the rate of diffusion of water vapors from the stomata pores to the atmospheric air, it depends upon the water contents in the air. If there is a high humidity in the atmospheric air, the process of the diffusion will be decreased and the rate of transpiration naturally will be decreased. If the atmospheric air is dry, if the atmospheric air is dry, there is a low humidity in the atmosphere, the rate of diffusion of water molecules from the stomata pore towards the atmospheric air, that will be increased, naturally increasing the transpiration rate. So that was all about the transpiration and the factors and the mechanism. Dear students, inshallah we will meet taking a new topic tomorrow. Thank you very much.